You are now listening to Oversaturated, the podcast hosted by Johnnie and Ralph. Now let's get it.
The podcast. I'm Ralph.
I'm Johnny.
Hey man, if you see us here, we're here with a YouTube exclusive because we got to get to Loki. But this is your first time here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything that we drop on the channel. And hey, if you like what we're doing, drop down in the comments. Let's debate. But we're here to talk about the end of season 2 of Loki. Glorious purpose. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's so much to get into. Usually we do episodic breakdowns, but this we just tried to do something a little different. So if you want to check out the first half, go check that out.
Word.
Now we're finna get into the second half, episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, man.
So, Johnny, usually when we get here, we just get into, the good, the bad, the ugly. We just go discuss what we loved about the second half. So, Johnny, what did you enjoy about season 2 of Loki?
Oh, man. Where do I even begin, right?
It's so much, man. It's a lot.
We saw earlier that Tom Hiddleston has played Loki for 14 years.
Sound right.
So we going to start with that, right? And everything about the Loki series, both season 1 and 2, we've seen him transform into a completely different character. And all of that comes to a head in the second half of season 2. Seeing him time slip and get a hold of the time slipping and not wanting to leave his friends, his whole battle with Sylvie, like everything has caused him to become a different type of character. I won't even say better character, just a different type of character, right? Yes. And seeing it play out all while talking about the timeline of the TVA and how he goes back and forth between time and not even to mention Jonathan Majors as Victor Timely, still going crazy, right? Listen, man, it's been dope. It's been dope.
It's been a dope ride, man. I think that season 2 of Loki is a very good show.
Absolutely.
Just the overall arc of Loki is explained in, because you think about Loki in the films and then Loki in the show, like you talking about I feel like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Loki character. Like we saw him get stripped in season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's built back up into an ultimate form of himself.
Absolutely.
A God form, right?
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like if they end the show, the character arc is complete.
I
you know
agree.
What I'm saying?
I absolutely agree.
It's kind of like when you have a show like that, it's very well thought out. And the thing is, on the first watch, a lot of this stuff ain't go hit. But you watch it again,
it's gonna make sense.
It's gonna make sense. And I had to reserve some of my criticisms when it came to like the time slipping and the time jumping and the time travel, because when I think about the stuff that I enjoy that has time travel, and I'm gonna use the creme de la creme of time travel stuff, which is Back to the Future. I ain't know what the fuck was going on the first time I watched it. I ain't know what the flux capacitor was, or, all that. Oh, we got to get it to 1.2 gigawatts. Like, you didn't know that the first time you watched it. It didn't make sense.
What
then.
does it mean?
What does it mean? But the more you watch it, the more it hit. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm comparing it to that, you know what I'm saying? You gotta rewatch some of this stuff. You're talking about the time travel aspect because it hits better on the second watch, because I definitely reiterated that when we talked about the first half. I was like, cooking.
Absolutely. So from the second half of Loki season 2, what were some of your highlights? Some of the things that you enjoyed most?
Oh man, clearly episode 4, right?
Yeah.
The ending, right? I don't think we ever had a cliffhanger as such in any of the MCU shows to date. Mm-hmm. And I'll even go so far back as to say that Netflix shows didn't have a cliffhanger as such, where it felt like, oh my God, what happens next?
What happens next, yeah.
Because episode 5 was such a gamble.
Right.
I didn't know what was going to happen. Now, if you ask me, episode 4 was like great, and the way it ended was great. It felt like all hope was in. It's almost like a Thanos snap. Like I was like, oh yo, what we doing?
No,
like what's going on? Like the timeline's done. We cooked.
It's and that's crazy, right? So at the end of episode 4, they They create the piece that goes into the thing to shoot at the loom, right? And Victor Tomley says, "Oh, I'll go out there and do it," but all the chrono energy and all that is just way too much. And when he goes out there and he spaghettifies, yeah. I was gonna say proverbially dusted, but no, spaghettifies. Literally, my jaw dropping. It's like,
hey yo,
where can we go? Like, what happens? Is the TVA over? Is the MCU over? Like, what is
happened?
going on? Like,
yeah, exactly.
that's you just said that's the first time we felt like there were real implications to the MCU from a Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that felt crazy.
Yeah.
That felt crazy.
Because it's like it's the end of time, and then you have a variant of our main villain right here, and he dies. What are we doing?
Absolutely. I thought maybe he would have got out there and like transform into
Oh yeah,
I was waiting the Conqueror or something.
you know
like,
what?
I just knew it was gonna be something
But you
crazy.
know what? I'm so happy that Victor Timely came was actually just Victor Timely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
Because
I agree.
honestly, if he did go out there and do the silly Negroes, I'm Kang for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm him. You know, I probably would have been upset because you would have saw it coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know how we hate the I seen it coming moments, and it actually happens. Like I like that was a curveball. Like I didn't see Victor Timely going that way.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. Then in episode 5, so we get to episode 5, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh snap, now what? And then we see each of the characters that was in that room when the loom exploded.
Yeah.
They all go off into their own branch timelines.
They scattered. Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed this, right? So seeing these individuals in actual lives, right?
Yeah.
Outside of the TVA.
Yeah.
B-15 was a doctor in New York in 2012, which is the same year as the Battle of New York, right? Not Ouroboros, but the other guy. He was
he was a felon. Like he was a
escaped convict out of
Yeah.
Alcatraz, out of
Yeah.
all prisons, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
he was a straight goon.
and that was a real thing, like in
Yeah.
in the real world.
Yeah.
So to see them portray him as that, use that historical timepiece like
Yeah.
that was cool, right? So seeing these individuals in their own timelines, in their own lives, and seeing Loki have to gather them back together in order to, I guess,
recreate the moment.
recreate the moment. Was great because he gets back to time slipping, right?
Yeah,
He starts time slipping again, and then having to establish some type of reconnection with these individuals when they don't know him.
yeah.
They don't know him, so he has to do all of this again.
He's pretty much recreating the lightning storm that got the time travel to DeLorean and Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
Like he had to get everybody together at this one moment because Mobius was like, and this kind of goes back to the Breaking Brad episode, right? I think Mobius really was concerned with the life that he missed out on.
Yes,
And you can tell, like, Mobius was a family man. So, like, him being a part of the TVA, he sacrificed family. Not to say that this variant knew that, but it's just something in him.
that always.
I felt like
that
it was
way.
like something that was unwritten, and you can just kind of tell in the character the way it was portrayed by Owen.
I agree, especially
Yeah.
the fact that after knowing that he had a life on the timeline, he never like sought it out. Like he never asked for a file, nothing like that. Where a lot of other people did.
Exactly.
A lot of other people did.
Exactly.
So that was dope, man. That was dope. The writing in season 2 has been simply amazing. Like
Yeah.
being able to connect past episodes, even the past season, into a lot of the second half of season 2.
Especially episode 6.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
especially yeah.
yes. Was
a
written
lot of
so
callbacks,
well.
right? And episode 6, just the season finale. I'm not gonna say series finale, but the season finale. Kind of a great way to end. I just enjoyed the callbacks, right? The callbacks to his first time getting to the TVA.
Yep.
And that sit down he had with Mobius as to why things were the way that they were. Like, just the breaking down of the character, bro. Like, I really
It's
enjoyed
amazing.
that. I really enjoyed that.
The thing that was one of the things that was most intriguing about episode 6 was the title card. Did you notice that it went in reverse? No. So think about like every MCU property you see, how they have like comic book pages, then they have like clips of different Marvel characters just throughout the 30 plus films and TV shows, right?
Yeah.
But this time they did the same thing, but it went in reverse. So it started with the Marvel Studios logo in green, but then it reversed to the Marvel Studios and it played backwards. All the way back to the flipping of the pages, right?
Okay.
So I think that's a callback to what happened to Loki in episode 6, where it's a full loop. The very first episode of season 1 and the last episode of season 2 are both called Glorious Purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I enjoyed, right? The Loki had to play on his emotions. He really had to get into a place of, what do I do? Am I going to be the hero? Am I going to choose to just do what I've been doing? Because it would have been easy for him to kill Sylvie.
Oh, easy, super easy. But he didn't want to do that.
He didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, and I've always said the reason why we're here is because of Sylvie. Like,
absolutely.
But he who remains having a plan beyond the plan was just ingenious in itself, because he knew that this overzealous character would try to kill him.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen when you do.
Yep.
I sit in the big chair because I made the hard decisions.
Absolutely. And the fact that we were so it's the crazy thing about the series as a whole, it's always a callback to what it was before, right?
Yeah.
So the end of season 1, we're introduced to He Who Remains. He goes through his whole spiel. I'm the one that created the sacred timeline, the TVA.
Yeah.
I'm the one that wrote the plans for you. You're the reason I'm here. All of that, right?
Yeah.
And when Sylvie killed him, we thought that was the end of He Who Remains, right? Clearly, that wasn't the case, because episode 6 of season 2, we're pretty much, I don't want to say reintroduced, but He Who Remains returns, basically, because
it was Jonathan Majors. That wasn't He Who Remains.
Right.
He wasn't even character no more. That was just Jonathan Majors talking. Like,
He was.
Like, because He Who Remains was a little bit more eccentric. He was a little bit more like, just saying a little bit more like, he had that. He was almost like, what's my man from Thor Ragnarok? The
Korg?
No, not Korg. Jeff Goldblum's character.
Oh, Grandmaster.
Yeah, he was kind of like him. Like, he was just so eccentric. You know what I'm saying? But nah, he cut that all off. He's like, nah, this how the game work, bro. Like,
But see, I
like
no,
that.
you're absolutely right. But I think it's because Loki got to a point where, okay, it's not just Loki following what the timeline is now. Loki he done spent centuries trying to figure out how to fix the loom, right?
Yeah.
He became a master at quantum physics, all that stuff. So now that he's finally on the verge of understanding what his glorious purpose is, He Who Remains he ain't gotta be He Who Remains right now. He can really like lay back and say, look, this is what it really is. Like, I drew this. I knew this was gonna happen. So now that we here, what's up?
And he had the 10 pad, just kept going. Like, he just kept fast forwarding, rewinding, muting. He cut Sylvie off. Like
They erased it and brought her back. It's crazy.
Let's talk about this, man. Like,
have a seat, my boy.
But it kind of likens to back to the end of season 1, right? Mm-hmm. Where all that stuff blew up in our face. The Timekeepers, Rabona Renslayer, all the TVA, all that stuff. He was like, all that stuff don't matter, bro. And then now to come back, get back to the same spot. And he said, you know what, bro? All that stuff don't matter.
It don't matter. Loom, none of that. The loom is just a fail-safe. Like, that, it could blow up, but the sacred timeline is the sacred timeline. It is what it is. Because I created it that way. Now, and here we are.
Yeah.
I know it feels good. Like, so first of all, shout out to episode 208. Y'all make sure y'all check out our Marvel's review.
Yeah.
I mentioned during that review that the after credit scene almost brought the feeling of what the MCU is back.
Yeah.
But season 2 of Loki, I feel like to me it brought the feeling back, because the writing was superb. We haven't had writing like this in a Marvel property in a very, very long time. Very long time.
Kind of thinking too. We talked about this. I want to say it was in the Breaking Bad episode. Mm-hmm. It was finally good to see Loki use his powers.
Yeah.
Like, and I think he's probably has used his powers. Just a quick blast on Sylvie, but I'm talking about like horned up Loki. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
And that's what we got at the end. Mm-hmm. And that's always been him.
Oh yeah, it's always been in him, and he had to figure out that this is what your purpose is. He had to go through all of that to understand that.
And to realize that this is not even just like something that they made up. This is something that happens in the comics, so it's still accurate. So it's kind of like Loki goes from being just an afterthought to back to being like something that's a major player in the MCU.
Agreed.
Because if he sits on the throne that controls time, nigga, like what do we do with that?
I know. And
it's like, does he use that to his advantage? Is he a villain? Is he what? Like, what is it? Like, how does that work?
And see, that's what I want to talk about, right? Because I'm still a little baffled at the ending, right? With Loki holding all of these branches, sitting on the throne, like and creating the tree, right? Creating the tree of all the branches of all the timelines. Yeah. What does it mean? Yeah. Like, because I'm still confused even right now.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll create like a citadel or whatever, how he remains at it to where he's not physically having to hold those timelines together. I don't think that's going to be Loki for the remainder of it, whatever that character is. But the fact that Loki had the power in him to do that the whole time, he kind of had to have like a moment, like a inner glow, like, like the last dragon, you know what I'm saying? You always had it in you, King, like, you know what I'm saying?
You just had to pull it out.
Yeah, just go do it. So that's what makes it so dope for the character, because he seemed like such a pawn, not a pawn, but just a shell of the original Loki.
Oh, absolutely.
But that was for the character's development, right?
Right.
Because he's back to that now.
Yep.
He's back to an all-powerful version of himself, and it's good to see that character kind of have that arc.
Yep.
Like I stand on.
I know
that was dope.
It's fire, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new TVA.
Yeah.
So TVA is seemingly being rebuilt. I feel like with a different purpose. We see a new booted up Miss Minutes. She's regaining her consciousness and all that kind of stuff. And we see that I think it's B-15 goes over and talks to Mobius about Kang the Conqueror from Ant-Man. Yeah, he mentions, we saw a version of Kang on 616, but they seemingly handle it, which is the events that happen in Quantumania, basically. Yeah. And what it seems like now is the TVA has been recreated or set up to monitor the variants of Kang throughout the numerous timelines. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, but it seems like they would have created a new model of the hierarchy in the TVA, right? Because, the Timekeepers, they're fake. All right, cool. Ravonna Renslayer, we don't know where she at, but she was a high-ranking official. Yeah. And then you see what happened when you had Docs up there at the top with, with that. So it's kind of like, how does the hierarchy there work? That's a question to be explored if the TVA comes back. That's all. They couldn't answer that right away, but I'm just curious as to how that works, because as you've seen, remember, like, I'm gonna use another MCU example. Remember in Winter Soldier, right? Hydra infiltrated SHIELD.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Both of them gotta go.
Got you. Oh, okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be, honestly, it shouldn't be a TVA no more. You know what I'm saying? We got to turn this thing down to start from scratch, but that thing didn't get torn down from scratch. Did it? I mean, tore down.
Well,
technically it did.
I think it did. I think it did. So when the loom broke, all this shit was destroyed.
But it's just like, because when I think about it, I guess because I see the main people come back. Like, you see B-15, you see Mobius, you see my man that was the escape convict, you see Ouroboros still there, you see a rebooted Miss Minutes. So it's kind of like, well, people still here. It's a variance or whatever of.
Even though it looks the same, like all the areas look the same, I do think that the new TVA is different. Like, it's a new version. They're literally starting from scratch. Like, everything is started from scratch. And I think they've repurposed their mission. Their mission before was to basically uphold the sacred timeline, and if any branches like happen, they go out and prune them. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter now because it's an infinite amount of branches.
Yeah, we just looking for Kang.
That's it. Now. That's all we doing now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting because it felt like toward the end, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Remember when B-15 and Mobius had that last conversation about Mobius was like, you know what, I just need some time. Yep. Like, you know what I'm saying? It felt like B-15 was going to report to somebody, where B-15 probably could just be.
Well, I think
B-15, that person.
I think B-15 is a part of the collective that are those people.
Okay.
Because when she went to the boardroom after that, it was hella people in there. Now remember before It used to only be like 5 or 6.
I only watched it once, so you know
Oh,
that's why I was like, hey,
Gotcha,
you know,
gotcha.
help. That's why I said correct me because I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, I think the way the hierarchy works is not just a few individuals up top that make all the decisions. They literally have a room full of people from all different levels to come together and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is our purpose. And let's collaboratively work on how we can monitor these Kang variants.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is how that goes into Deadpool 3 because the TVA is supposed to be in Deadpool 3. Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty. The TVA is going to play a part in those movies.
I was gonna ask you a question, but it won't get too far.
Let's do it.
Well, how do they monitor the Kang variants, right? And I think that the Kang variants operate outside of the TVA to where they're not monitored, right? Because think about it like this, right? Think about the end of Ant-Man. All those, the stadium. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I feel like they can move outside of the TVA, like because they're aware of their power. They're aware.
So
That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Without it explicitly being said.
yes and no, right?
Okay.
So yes, they all can meet, congregate in some place outside of time. The TVA is I feel like it's privy to all of that. It's privy to all of that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
at some point, each Kang gonna go back to their various timelines, or two Kangs will go back to a timeline, you know, and do whatever destruction they gonna do.
Yeah.
That's where the TVA comes in to monitor and say, hey, this is happening. Let's go see what we can do to fix it. They didn't have to step in 616 because Ant-Man and them figured it out. They figured it out. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, no, that's interesting.
I know.
Just, this is all theory. All theory.
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying? None of this is true.
Right. You know, we just here to talk about it. We're here to talk
we're
about it.
speculating, but hey, so I think we've covered enough ground in that second half. So, what did you think about obviously season 2? If you had to give it a rating out of 5,
This could be recency bias. It could be how much I love the writing, all of that good stuff. But I'm going like 4.5. I'm going 4.5. It's high. It's up there.
yeah.
It's up there, especially in like Phase 5 properties. It's up there.
Oh man, what?
It's up there.
Considering, I sometimes I just got to be that guy because I really want to rewatch it, but I'm gonna go 4.
Okay.
And that's not recency at all because it's like this is actually good by comparison to other ones, right? Because we went episode by episode. Oh, this episode 4. This is a 3. This is a whatever we gave the show per rating, right? But this is a story. Like it really felt like an arc. It really felt like a character that has implications in the big MCU picture moving forward.
Absolutely.
I can't say that for most. Even though like okay, I mean most of them have tried, but this really feels like it can work because of the time aspect. Because I know Wanda, I know new Captain America, I know we ain't got She-Hulk, but Miss Marvel just of recent. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't got Moon Knight. I don't know, but I feel like this has a real implication because of the direct tie to Kang.
I agree. Agreed.
I think that's always been the edge because remember I'll say you were the biggest fan of Loki probably before He Who Remains showed up.
Oh, agreed.
Because of the
absolutely.
dialogue. Okay.
Absolutely.
But I think when He Who Remains showed up, it changed what we thought about the complexity and how we viewed the show. And then now Kang being tied all throughout the season, it definitely elevates the show.
I agree.
Because I guess this is the first show that had a real villain.
No, okay.
Maybe that's what.
I'm not mad at that.
Hey man, let's cook, man. I don't know. We have sat here and reviewed and talked about all these shows. So
We have.
I think the only one we didn't do was Moon Knight, right? Did we do any Moon Knight?
No, we didn't do Moon Knight.
We didn't know
I watched it, but we didn't review it.
We definitely did review that.
That's funny. Yeah, man. Look, the leap in how great season 2 is compared to season 1 is kind of insane.
Well, they had to do something, bro.
Look, if Loki season 2 is an implication of what's to come with Marvel TV shows outside of Echo,
I was
outside of Echo, because I already knew. Look, I didn't have to look at you. I already knew. then I'm very hopeful. I'm very
Okay,
hopeful,
well,
especially with them going back to the drawing board on how they actually write these TV shows.
Okay. Well, what's the next property after Echo?
I don't know.
Okay.
They haven't said.
They haven't said it. Okay. Well, it's good that, maybe we have time for this. But it's just maybe that they're taking a break in MCU content because we're only supposed to get one film next year. That's right. And that's actually outside of the realm of MCU, if you want to be honest.
Wait, what is it?
I mean, well, not Daredevil. Deadpool.
Gotcha.
It felt like Deadpool is outside of the MCU, even though it's included, right? Mm-hmm. But it feels like it has its own writers, its own, like, Kevin Feige might be a producer, but it always felt like Ryan Reynolds had the creative control over that whole thing.
Well, yeah, that was when it was a Fox property.
Yeah.
It ain't no more.
Oh, never mind.
It ain't no more. Look, this is Deadpool 3 is going to be a direct tie-in to like all the Kang and TVA shit that's going on. So
okay,
look,
that's the only one that's the only one we get next year. I bet.
They bet. Hey, do all the reshoots and whatever you need to do to make it right, because they got to last for 12 months. Like they got that's the property for next year for Marvel.
Hey, so it's a lot of pressure on Deadpool 3 to perform.
Yeah, no, I think so. Listen, you got Wolverine. That's like an extra notch right there. So.
That is a cheat code.
So
and then you got the legacy character, little Wolverine. This ain't even a new Wolverine.
Facts.
We seen Logan die, bro. He dead.
It's true. No, it's true. It's true. So look, we gonna see. May of next year, or is it July?
It's July.
It's the summer.
Yeah, that's
summer 2024.
We need a trailer or something, some teaser footage. The baby changed my mind.
You ain't gonna get that till March.
I know, but still, I just.
Oh, you might get some during the Super Bowl,
bro. That's whew.
Look, hey man,
it's rough out here, bro.
I know, man.
It's rough out here, but hey, clearly we have ran out of content. But hey, this has been our Loki second half of season 2 review. Yes. If you like what you heard, please, man, jump down in the comments. Just get a good dialogue going. Hit the thumbs up button on this video. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Hey, that's OS the podcast. We'll catch you on the next. You won't see us for Echo.
We ain't doing no Echo.
We ain't doing no Echo. That's crazy.
Cause you don't care.
I don't.
It's 5 episodes. They drop all the episodes.
We can do it how we did this. just sit there and talk. Content is content. We COE gang. But hey, we appreciate you guys. Hey, we'll catch y'all later.
We out. Peace.
You are now listening to Oversaturated, the podcast hosted by Johnnie and Ralph. Now let's get it.